I gotta ask you something. Um,
Uh-huh.
I think it's kind of in the vein of me slowly trying to understand what other humans do and try and classify
Mm-hmm.
what is and isn't normal. So
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking for your take, and I'm a little worried that I did something weird again tonight.
Weirdo.
Hey, we're all pleasantly weird, I think. I'm just hoping I'm not more than average.
Hit me
The
with it.
Do you know when you were off on the other side of the globe? Welcome home, by the way. It's glad to see that you're
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you.
Do you know that when you were off on the other side of the world, McDonald's shook the fast food world up a little bit by doing their own proper chicken sandwich? And you'd think like, oh, was it like a big thing, like Popeyes last year, and then was like, oh fuck, dude, I gotta get that fucking chicken sandwich. No, they were late to the party, but like they sold out of like chicken sandwich hoodies. McDonald's is like doing like a real like, hey guys, we're like Chick-fil-A now. We also have like a chicken sandwich that isn't a McChicken. I've seen the look on your face. I feel like you might not know this was a thing.
I was Googling because I was like, don't they have a chicken sandwich? Don't they have a McChicken?
Yes. Yes, they
Ugh,
did.
fucking looks awful. Jesus.
They had a McChicken.
That looks terrible. Okay, so but what is this other chicken sandwich?
I think they're calling it the crispy chicken sandwich, and the not hashtag not sponsored, by the way. They're calling it a crispy chicken sandwich, and I think it's just their retort to a proper chicken sandwich from the likes of, say, Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And so I wanted to try one because I'm a heathen and I can't say no to a new chicken sandwich. And not only am I a sucker for marketing, I also kind of guiltily enjoy fast food. And I just have to know for scientific purposes, right? So I'm out and about today. I'm dropping some stuff off. I see a McDonald's and I'm like, oh man, McDonald's lit right now. Not only is it Shamrock Shake season, which is my favorite time of year. It's my favorite time of year. I love myself some mint shakes. It's also spicy chicken nuggets are back, which spicy McNugs, great McNugs, and now they're trying out this new chicken sandwich thing that had all the hype to it. So I'm like, you know what? I had no lunch. I'll go run later. I'll do a McDonald's night. I'm gonna have McDonald's. I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna be a real heathen.
Mm-hmm.
Go through the drive-through, order a chicken sandwich, order some McNugs, skip the McFlurry because I'm proud of myself and I'm growing as an individual. No fries, no drink. And I'm excited for this chicken sandwich because you know how sometimes when you go through the drive-through and they tell you like, hey, your shit, it's not ready. You gotta pull to the side real quick. We gotta cook it for you. They did that to me. So now, not only am I waiting to try this new thing, I'm also extra excited about it because I know that it's going to be fresh. They're cooking
It's
it right now.
fresh.
I have to wait for it, which
Fresh
feels like a privilege.
fast food.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey man, some people. I'm a simple man. Okay, simple man. I'm excited for my fresh that I know it's going to be fresh chicken sandwich. No microwaves here.
Uh-huh.
And the way that they're doing these chicken sandwiches, they have three different versions. Your plain Chick-fil-A, just bread, chicken, pickles. They got bread, chicken, pickles plus spicy sauce, which is like the spicy version. So instead of like a spicy breading, it's like a spicy mayo. And then they have like the deluxe option with the mayo, tomatoes, lettuce, all the bacon, all that jazz. I just want myself a plain Jane. I'm not a pickle guy. Fuck pickles. They're actually the worst. I don't want any pickles.
Agreed.
All I want is just chicken and bread. Keep it light. I get my chicken sandwich. I pull out. I'm driving back home. I open the bag. I eat the McNuggets first because they're easy to do while driving. I switch on over. I grab the sandwich. I pull it out. And I notice that I can no longer really enjoy it because they gave me one of the ones with the spicy mayo on it. And not only do I hate pickles, I hate mayo. I really, it's too vinegary.
Spicy mayo's different though, right?
It's still got that base. It's still got that mayo base.
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck, man, this isn't the experience I wanted. I was so excited. It was going to be fresh.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm trying to figure out what to do. Because I still want to try the sandwich, but I very clearly am going to have tainted views and don't want to eat this one. And also, the thought of going back to McDonald's to be like, I'm miles away at this point. The thought of going back and being like, hey, y'all, it's me in the drive-thru again. I was here 10 minutes ago. You gave me the wrong fucking sandwich. Really, I wanted a plain one. Can you fix it? I'd rather die than do that. And and I can't go back to the same McDonald's.
That's a crazy person thing to do.
Thank you. I'd rather die than do that. So and I can't go back to the same McDonald's because they're going to remember me. They're going to remember me. So I drive out of my way to a second McDonald's to order the same chicken sandwich again and get it and try it. And just don't eat the first one. The first one goes to waste. And I order a second one. And not only am I wasting food at this point, I'm also wasting like $4.72.
Fuck it. It's fast food. You can do this. Fast food is cheap.
Okay. I really wish there was like someone waiting by the end of the drive-thru. I could have like given them one, like help a homeless person out. Didn't get to it. Really did go in the trash, which I still feel a little guilty about. But how did
literally
they handle this?
Tens of thousands of pounds of food go into the trash every single day, Joey.
Did I do the right thing? Should I have just had something else for dinner? Is it
No.
is it kosher to go
do
to
the right thing? No.
What is? I mean, God, we got so much response last week to people talking about pimples. I'm like dreading what people are going to tell me I should or shouldn't have done here. But what's the proper course of action here? Do I suck it up and eat the sandwich? Do I get something else for dinner? Do I go back to the first McDonald's?
No, don't go back to the first McDonald's. And I mean, in that situation, if you hate mayo that much, like I totally get it. Don't force yourself to eat something. I mean, I would have just written it off and just said, well, fuck it, I'll try it some other day. But yeah, like it'll still be there tomorrow or the next day or the day after that. But I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it's
okay.
Sandwich is $5. It's fine. It's not like you were getting a whole meal. All right, that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
It's the fries and drink that they get you.
When you
with.
get the drink, yeah. When you get the drink, yeah, that's the expensive shit. So no, you're fine.
Okay.
But did you try it? Was it? Did it blow your mind?
It's funnier to report back and just not be like, nah, I don't have a good review of it. Actually, it is better than I would expect fast food from McDonald's to be. Okay. I think it depends on how you frame this. If you're looking at this as from like a McDonald's perspective, I think it might be one of the better menu items. But if you're looking at it at a comparison to Chick-fil-A, I like it substantially less.
Okay.
It is much better. It is magnitudes better than a McChicken. Because it's not like a processed, aerated chicken patty. It's like a real, like, chicken
I mean,
breast.
I'm looking at the McChicken on the McDonald's website, with like the fake food that is made purely for photography. This lettuce that's like actually made out of paper and the mayo or whatever that's probably like glue or something. I'm looking at that and it still looks disgusting.
A lot of times
the McChicken still looks terrible.
McChickens are gross. There's a reason why there's $1. Food photography is actually super interesting because they do more often than not use the real ingredients, but they're just substantially higher versions than what you get, which obviously people know. They can see the pictures. But the tips and tricks that they actually use to do that photography is really cool. More often than not, when you're taking food photography and you want to make it shine, what you do is you spray hairspray on it.
I did actually see that, yeah. You spray hairspray or they like coat it with lacquer or something, right?
Mm-hmm. So it makes the food inedible. You cannot eat the food they take pictures of, and they spend a lot of time to make it look really cool. It's like definitely an art, but still false.
What do they do for videos? Like they must make a real like upclassed Big Mac. But is there something? Is there edible gloss that you can put on this stuff? Is there ways to make this look good but still edible?
If you're looking to take that picture of someone taking a bite, more often than not, what you're doing is you're using like a lot of like a gloss baked sugar, almost like you would do cake decorating, to kind of add like a shimmer to it. Because really, the once you pay attention to it, a lot of the reason why those photos look good is because they're super well lit. And the actual like production around it is super well lit. And like it's like, wow, that's like shiny and fancy. And I wonder if I've been thinking about this more and more with all the people who just like grow up and know what editing is now, or like know Photoshop because everyone and their fucking dog is on TikTok. That if these tricks that people have used for all these years are going to stop tricking people, because these kids will just grow up knowing like, well, I know why that photo looks good. It's the editing.
Yeah. No, I think that sort of stuff will definitely be less effective than it was on previous generations for sure, but it'll probably still work to some degree, right?
If it looks good, it looks good, right?
Yeah.
Like
if it looks good, it'll make you hungry and it'll worm its way into your subconscious. All right, so that is one of the many things that I have on my screen now is the McDonald's menu. And you want to know the other thing that I have on my screen, Joey?
Dude, what do you got on your screen, dude?
ETHERIUM prices. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I bought ETH like several years ago.
Oh yeah, okay. Like what was your entry level point?
My original entry point was like 300 or something like that, 200 maybe, 250, somewhere in there. And then I sold when it went up. I think I went up to like 1100 or something. I think I sold at like 900. And then I think I rebought in at like I think my average price was around 500 or something like that. I have it all written out in a document. But the reason I have that up. Yes, that is my one crypto play. Because basically just through the research that I had done, ETH seemed like it made more sense than Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin's a hot thing. But either way, like I don't care about crypto that much. I just knew it was something that like could make me money. You know, I just knew it was something that like over time it was going to blow up, and you know, I was going to use that crypto to in turn turn it into real money rather than the cryptocurrency. Now, maybe 30 years down the line, I'll be using cryptocurrency instead of actual dollars. But for right here and now, I treat it purely as a way to turn into real money. So, but I don't care about it. The only reason I have this up, Joey, is because 4 weeks ago, you teased a crypto story to me. Has that story finally been resolved yet?
Dude, I also chose Ethereum as my crypto of choice.
Okay.
Back before we knew of each other, back before we were friends, back in the old, I don't know, what are we talking about? We're probably, if we're both getting in around 300, we're probably both at like 2015, if I had to guess, maybe ish.
Yeah.
We're playing around with it.
Yeah, 2015, 2016, somewhere in there.
That sounds about right. So, I have had probably like an interesting 13 plus years in crypto. I'm someone who every time he sees the Bitcoin prices gets a little bit sick, because I did at one point in time have Bitcoin, which I used to buy a graphics card in 2008 ish. I bought a GeForce 860 with Bitcoin.
Yeah, how much Bitcoin did that cost you?
I really don't like to talk about it. It's not even like a weird
stories.
It's not even like a weird flex, right? It's just like I was someone who was on the internet and like kind of plugged into that a little bit. Like I spent a couple days on 4chan. I was there. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was interested in it. And thinking about it today, I think I've gotten over it. It's a good story, but it'll never not hurt a little bit.
I bet. I bet. Graphic cards are expensive, Joey.
Graphic cards are expensive. You know how you know how much of a baller I felt
even
like?
More expensive if you're using Bitcoin to pay for them.
You know how much of a baller I felt like knowing that like I basically got a graphics card for free. I was the fucking talk of the town. Joey was so cool. He used his Bitcoin to get a fucking GeForce card. He got so many frames on Counter-Strike Source. He was so excited to play in his Cal Invite League.
Of all things. You spent all that Bitcoin for the worst CS game.
Hey man, I grew up playing Source. I was a competitive Data Defeat Source player. Source engine games are my jam. That's why I'm in esports. That's why we're talking. We should just gloss over this. This wasn't the story I wanted to tell. This is just colorful background information. I guess that I think they call this self-flagellation, actually. Let me compose myself for a second before I actually start crying again. A couple years later after that, probably around 2012, was like, well, really shouldn't have bought that graphics card. I should probably get back into crypto. And at that time, I was mining Dogecoin for maybe almost 2 years. Maybe almost 2 years off and on. I was mining Dogecoin. Sometime between 2011 and 2013. And I was also I was really into it. I was like, you know what? This is my getting back at the world. I'm going to get a bunch of crypto again. I'm going to build up a little crypto portfolio. I'm going to be so cool. I'm just going to have Dogecoin because, it's so silly compared to Bitcoin. And not only did I mine it, I also, there was an eBay-esque website where it was just eBay with Dogecoin. And I sold a bunch of stuff, not even for cash, but just for crypto at this point in time. And just like a bunch of like stuff out of my closet I didn't need, like spare older original Kensington flash drives, and I'm like, yeah, I got all this Doge. Eventually, what I ended up doing is I had over 800,000, close to 900,000 Dogecoin. Rounded up, just say I had 1 million Doge. I don't know why you're laughing. I would be like, wow, that's pretty cool, Joe. You were like, what, 20? Like that's how fucking rad are you, right? Around the time that you got into Ethereum, I was also souring on Dogecoin by and large. And I felt the need to just transfer the balance into something that I thought was going to be more secure long-term. Which, again, as a super strong financial early 20 analyst, I decided, yeah, let's move away from the meme crypto into the serious tech man's crypto, right? Mm-hmm. So I trade all my Dogecoin for Ethereum. And then late January happens. And I'm having I don't want to claim that I have PTSD. I think that is legitimately rude to people who do, to people who've, been in the service or like experienced real PTSD, right?
Yes.
I'm watching the Dogecoin just take off like a fucking rocket. Get up to 1 penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies, 5 cents, 7 cents. And I'm thinking to myself, I had 1 million of those. Motherfucker, I had 1 million of those. I traded I traded 1 million of those for like 10 Ethereum. And oh wow, dude, Ethereum's doing great. It's like $2,000. Man, I'm so fucking cool. I got like fucking $20,000 in Ethereum. Yeah, but you could have had like $90,000 in Dogecoin. That's fine. You know, that happens. You know, people lose money on stocks and trades all the time. You're stupid boy, whatever. Okay, you know what? It's fine. You know, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I do not have the wealth that I could have potentially had now twice. I could have, in theory, with these two plays and foresight and knowledge that I could have never had, been set. I could have stopped working.
For those of you keeping track at home, Joey mentioned 2012. I tried to go back to Bitcoin's history. And the site that I'm looking at will only go back to 2013, where the very start, where it first listed, it was listed at $108. A Dogecoin only goes back to 2019, where it was listed as 1/5 of a cent.
It was way lower
as in
than that.
0.002, and that's in 2019.
Yeah.
And Joey's talking about.
Again, I had like 850,000 of them. So, you know, we were breaching like $70,000, truly, that I just didn't have. So that's fine. And also, more background color for all this. I'm like really trying to figure out what to do with my finances and saving and the market and potentially property investment. And I'm like very seriously looking and considering like, hey, can I really put like a down payment on a condo somewhere? And to really be crunching all the numbers in my finances and just know in the back of my mind that all this money that could have just like bought a condo went poof. Because in Los Angeles, I guess for context, people who don't know like what our housing market looks like, it's stupid. And if you want to put 10% down minimum on a condo or townhouse around here that's like 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and not a shitty neighborhood around LA, you're looking at $500,000 to $600,000. So that's $50,000 to $100,000 of down payment money that you need, which I could have had in crypto, and I didn't twice. I go at this point, I'm lamenting everything. And I decide that the best course of action is that I should really just check up and like update my wallets, because all of my cryptocurrency is kept in local storage. I don't have it like tied to a Bitnet or whatever online brokerage. Like I have it all offline.
Yeah, I got. This is where my F is.
Yeah. Cap is for the audio people. Cap is showing a physical hard drive key where he keeps his cryptocurrency. I go to update my Doge wallet, my Ethereum wallet, and I actually haven't signed into Ethereum for so long that the wallet I was using has been deprecated and non-functional for about 7 years. Maybe less than that. No, probably about 5 years. I think it was about 4 to 5 years. Whatever. The dates don't matter. It's been deprecated and non-functional for a long time. So I'm trying to figure out how to get into it so I can transfer it to the new programs that everyone else is using that's modern. And I know that I have all of my backups properly stored in multiple places, like on hard drives in the cloud in my Google Drive. And I'm able to access the key storage files, which is where everything's stored. And I finally get it to load up and boot up into the right place. And I go to put in my password, and it doesn't work.
Oh no.
And I'm sitting here at this desk. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, I probably typed it wrong. That's what happens. It doesn't work again or again or again. And I'm like, okay, this is an old, non-standard, unique password. Let's just try a couple other things. Like maybe I'm misremembering. It's literally been years. I try the gambit of everything that I think it could possibly be, and nothing is working. And I'm like, okay, I have, in my infinite wisdom, I used to hide my cryptocurrency as if I was someone hiding. I was gonna say child porn, but that felt too aggressive. No,
Oh, Jesus.
no, like I would hide my cryptocurrency. Like I imagine how someone would hide anything that they absolutely cannot have found on their computer. I'm talking about like in a zip file, in a folder, in a different zip file, in a random location that's hidden by Windows. Like you have to like be like FBI to scrub through my computer and find something. You would never find where it's pathed for my cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, oh man, did I make my own system too hard and now I just don't remember how to access it?
Uh-huh.
So I cannot find whatever documents I might have stored the password in. And at this point, I've been going at this process for 2 to 3 hours. It's like 1 a.m. It's a work night. And any sane person might go, well, this really sucks. It's a problem for tomorrow. I'm a human adult who has a job to do. And I should probably go to bed. But not me. I don't have to get up that early for work. And I don't have to get up that early for work. I can probably stay up and do this for a couple more hours. Cut to me going through my entire cloud backup, my entire computer, my physical hard drive backup, ripping apart my old computer that I have in the closet to pull a hard drive out, and basically looking at any cloud or physical media I have, including an entire jar of flash drives and miscellaneous media, to try and find anything. And I can't find anything to open this file. And I'm convinced that I think I know what the password is, but it's just not working, so it has to be wrong. And I don't know if it's like the wallet file that was fucked up, or if it's just a new program that I'm switching to that isn't right, and I'm doing research and I'm reading Reddit threads, and I'm looking at the clock and it is just flying by. And my room is a fucking mess because it looks like some kind of crime room where there's torn apart PCs for me to get hard drives just all over the floor. There's pieces of paper that are labeled like tested and not tested for me to put flash drives on so I don't retest them. I should have taken pictures to show you. I looked like a crazy. If someone walked in on me, I would have 1,000% been like taken against my own will to some kind of hospital. Because
you're Charlie and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with all.
Yes. And at this point, I am just like, it's setting in that it's being more doom and gloom, because now, not only mind you that I bought that graphics card, lost my Bitcoin, traded my Dogecoin for Ethereum, which appreciated, but significantly less because I went from 800,000 to 10, didn't appreciate the same. And now I don't have access to my fucking Ethereum. And worse than the idea of not even having this money that still isn't really real, because it's not real. I don't have cash. It's not on my bank account. It's theoretical money still. I've never had it. I'm thinking about, more so than the money, because money can always come. And I can only make more money as I grow old. I'm so upset at the time that I put into mining, that I put into selling items on Dogecoin eBay, that I put into what is literally close to 10 years of appreciating wealth and time in the market, that I'm just no longer have access to. For basically 3 times now, with 3 different coins. And I stayed up until 7 a.m. And by 7 a.m, not only have I realized how fucked I am for work the next day, I made myself ill. I like gave myself a migraine being up and 10 out of 10 stressed all night. And mind you, coworkers are now logging on and starting their day in Slack. And they're like, shit, Joey's up at 7 in the morning? What's wrong with you, dude? Like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, actually, something's really not okay. I have a migraine. I have to sleep. I'm not okay. And I was out the entire next day. It just didn't exist. I vomited 3 different times. I didn't work. I was up all night. And at present time of podcast, there is someone who is trying to hack into my Ethereum wallet on my behalf with a revenue share where they will take 20% of what is inside if they are able to open it. Because at present point in time, after 30 to 50 hours of work over the last couple of weeks, I'm convinced that I can't open the wallet.
Oh, no.
And I hope, one, that there is some cruel comedy there. Please laugh at me and don't feel bad at me. Because I feel bad enough for myself. A lot. 2, public service announcement. For years now, I have been using a password manager that I am super happy about. I use OnePass. It's on my phone. It's on my desktop. All my passwords are unique and different. I can sign in with my face or a finger. Everything is great. It took a lot of time to set up. It is not a free service. I know there's free alternatives. It's relatively cheap. I pay for a year. It's like $30 or something. If you use a password manager and if there's stuff that you haven't gone back and put into your password manager since you've started using one, go and do that. I assume that a lot of people who listen to a DOTA podcast are some level of tech affluent and might even do that. Or they're super lazy, which I think is also part of the DOTA demographic. Please let me be an example. Find a password system you like. Don't hide passwords to important things like it's fucking kiddie porn on your computer, because eventually you'll forget about it. And it won't work because you don't need it for 5 years. I have, since this tragedy over the last 2 weeks, not signed in. I have, however, gotten my Dogecoin wallet working. And I was very excited to find out that I did not transfer 100% of my Doge wealth into Ethereum. I only transferred about 90% of it. Okay. So I still have 80,000 Dogecoin, which is not an insignificant amount of money. I still have some crypto. I started mining again in my spare time because I feel some kind of sunk cost for wanting to be back in the market eventually. So 10 years from now, so almost 40-year-old Joey can learn from 20-year-old Joey. But dude, I know it's not a happy story. It's barely even a funny story. I've been kicking myself in the nads for like almost a month now. The Bitcoin, I can, you know what? That's hindsight. That's total hindsight. The Dogecoin, also kind of hindsight. If you would have asked me at the time, do you think this is ever going to be a real thing that people are going to treat seriously? Elon Musk will tweet about and it'll get to almost 10 cents a coin. No, I didn't think that. And I probably didn't even think that 6 months ago. I'm fine that I traded it for Ethereum. That doesn't bother me. It stings a little bit, doesn't bother me. Not being able to get into that account is so fucking stupid and entirely my fault. And honestly, just out of character from how I see and like envision myself and like do other stuff in my life, that it sucks. Also the money.
Also the money.
Also the money. Everyone choose a password manager. That's the takeaway here.
And that is a wild story. Well, I hope that guy's at least able to hack into your account.
Yeah, he's pretty reputable. He's like a real person who does it for a lot of people. Apparently, this is semi-common. So maybe maybe there's a world where I get 80% of it back, and that's better than having 0 of it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
sure.
you know, I am a firm believer. I'm a super firm believer. I would actually say that like one of my pillars is that bad days only make good stories. And if you think about bad days as a good story to tell, it's really not that bad. There's some exceptions to that rule. It's really not cool when like a super close family member dies. Also, it's really not cool when you fucking lose thousands of dollars and can't do anything about it. Tens of thousands of dollars.
See, I have no problem laughing at you, Joey, because I know you'll be fine.
I was not mentally well for about 30 hours. And after that, I've been pretty okay. The manic period of actually trying to find the password and looking like I was in Always Sunny was probably the hardest part.
Yeah. Well, you're good now.
I'm 95% okay. It sucks.
Financially, you will be fine for the rest of your life.
I know.
You've got a good job. You're a competent, hardworking person.
That's the other
You'll
thing.
Be fine.
It does feel semi weird to complain about something that is ultimately superficial and financial like this, because I know that there's people who are listening right now who like are going through hard times before and after and during Corona, right? I'm sure there's people who are listening who are playing a small violin, right? Who are like, "Fuck you,
dude." We always go down that line. All right, there's someone who's always having a shittier life than you. You still are able to complain. You are still able to be sad and upset and complain about these things. All right. And I'm able to laugh at it.
Thank you. Because honestly, they're telling people best medicine. Also, I just looked at the clock. 38 minutes.
Yeah. That was a good story. It was worth it.
It's not and there's stuff. I should timestamp post story us, because dude, you're home.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. You're home.
Thank you.
I don't think you're going to Singapore, so you're staying home.
I am not going to Singapore. So about that. So I was not invited to Singapore, and this will be the first place that I'll really be announcing that, because honestly, you guys who follow the podcast, you deserve all the inside scoops and stuff like that. I will be doing an alternative broadcast for the major, since they didn't invite me. Like, the hell else am I going to do? So I'm putting together an alternative broadcast. It's going to be similar to stuff that I've done in the past, where I've kind of done the what I like to call the goon squad, just like a bunch of talent and players hanging out and watching the games together. I think it's a fun experience, and I'm just going to formalize that a little bit more and do the entire major from home, from my stream. So yeah, actual Dota capitalist content. Wow, very cool.
That is exciting. I'm not going to invite myself, but I'm also going to say we should chat, and you should let me know how I can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've already been reaching out to some pro players. There are a large number of pro players that I think will be interested, but I can't contact them yet because it's kind of rude. You know, like, hey, sorry about the tiebreakers. You got any plans for the major?
Hey Moon, I know your cat's not doing well. Also, the tiebreakers suck. Want to cast?
Let me just say, this is the first time that, you know, they're my friends. I put that relationship above my own personal gratification or whatever. But there was somewhere in the back of my head going, I mean, if Liquid does lose this, they're easily the best team for me to talk to about this. I can have Blitz and Koifa and Insania.
Yeah, you guys have an EU schedule.
But those motherfuckers had to qualify, didn't they? They had to make it through that tiebreaker.
Can I complain for a second? I don't think I've done enough of that at present time in podcast recording.
Okay. You got a complaint about Liquid making it through the tiebreaker?
Let's talk about Team Liquid. Let's talk about my woes and suffering being someone who is trying to support my favorite team and employer on the West Coast during tiebreakers for the DPC because they started at 3 a.m. And you know what? That is a shit time. That's a shit time because you can't go to bed early and wake up. And if you stay up, it's going to suck. Also, it's a Sunday, which would be fine, except I was working all day to film the fucking League of Legends team. Fuck them. I wanted to watch the Dota game. Fuck you, chat. You'll never listen to this. Josh is actually super cool. Anywho, what I did was I stayed up with the Team Liquid Dota staff, who were all in the EU, and they were laughing at me. And we watched Game 1. Game 1, which was pretty exciting, because I thought that our draft was going to lose. Because even though I think that our draft in theory works, it only works for 30 minutes if you're going to cheese with Huskar against a Weaver IO, against a team that as soon as Weaver builds Scotty, you can't fucking heal anymore, and Troll's blinding axis means that no one hits anything. And I don't understand how they won that game. I was very excited. It's close to 4 a.m. now. Now I have a decision to make. I can go to bed, or I can wait for the second game. Because Liquid plays Game 1 and Game 3, not Game 2, which is even worse for my current sleep situation. If they played Game 1 and 2, stay up, go to bed, sleep a little bit less, fine. But I have to wait through a whole best of 3. I watched Game 2, which, by the way, I don't know if you watched this tiebreakers. Game 2 with Tundra and OG was actually a banger.
I did not because, again, it was at 3 a.m. I woke up and the tiebreakers had already gone one full round already. I was like, I guess it's still going.
I know you're not going to watch it.
No.
But if you scrub through the VOD of that OG Tundra game, it was probably one of the most engaging Dota games and exciting Dota games from a fan perspective that I think I've seen in a hot minute. It was just a really fun and exciting game of Dota. Highly recommend to anyone who wants to put on a Dota game and just like watch it. Highly recommend Tundra OG Game 1 from the DPC Europe Upper Division Season 1 tiebreakers. OG wins. This is great news because now Liquid can either win or lose and reset the bracket. Nothing bad can happen during Game 3.
Except for Joey and his sleep schedule.
Except for me and my sleep schedule. I'm watching Game 3, and at this point, I hedged my bets. So the OG Tundra game got me so amped up because, again, it was actually a really good game to watch. I got a little high because generally that helps me go to bed. So I'm strategically getting stoned to go to bed to wake up to go to work. Except it hit me a little quick. I must have been tireder than I thought I was. And I'm like dozing off in the middle of the Tundra Liquid game. Except Joey set an alarm for himself so he can wake up and actually see what's going on. So I wake up to this alarm. Mind you, I'm still a little not sober. And by a little not sober, I mean I'm stoned. And I'm like, oh fuck. Tundra's gonna be liquid. There's gonna be 3 more games. It is 6 a.m. There's gonna be 3 more games.
You're fucked.
I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Because now the choice is like I can't really sleep.
And you're already high.
And so what I proceed to do, and this wasn't a conscious decision, this is just what happened, is that I think the TV volume was too loud, so it was like waking me up a little bit. So for the next 2.5 games, I don't actually see them, but I am like waking up for 15 seconds, seeing looking at the score, and then immediately falling back asleep. And then waking up and looking at the score, and then immediately falling back asleep. This happens like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it turns into, I've been there so many times. It turns into this weird fucking fever dream where you like are dissolving fucking real things, but it almost feels like a fucking dream.
Yeah, it feels like a dream because I know what's going on, and I know, like, I didn't get to see who won the second OG Liquid game, right?
Uh-huh.
So I wake up and like Tundra and OG are playing, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened to Liquid win? I don't even know what the draft was. I think Taiga played Enigma, maybe. I pull out my phone, and I'm like, okay, they won game 1. Okay, fuck. And then I fall back asleep, and then I wake up 20 minutes into the Tundra Liquid game 2, and I see that it's a lock, and I'm like, oh yes, we did it. And I'm so happy that I was here to support the whole time, even though I definitely wasn't. And then I had to wake up and go to work and do all that work stuff all day. But tiebreakers sucked to watch all of them from West Coast with work the next day. Also tiebreakers, thank fucking God. I Liquid made it out of that tiebreaker. Holy shit. Holy shit did Liquid make it out. Oh my dude. I was not mentally prepared for the domino effect of potentially missing TI because we were going to lose a game to Tundra.
Yeah. No, it's a real problem. That's a very, very real problem. I mean, it still is kind of a problem. You guys have made it to the major, but in order to get more points, you guys made it in 4th. So you got like 100 points. It's that's fuck all. Now you need to be able to get top 8 at the major. I think it's top 8 in order to get more points.
Or paid. There's no money unless you're like top 8 too.
Yes.
You have to make it through the lower bracket round 1.
Yes, you go and you travel to a foreign country. For some people, such as Leslau, coming out of Brazil, it takes him 24 hours to get there. So a literal full day of travel in order to get to this foreign country during a pandemic. And if you do not place top 8, you might as well not have gone at all.
Yeah. Wild, right?
And people will say, but the money comes from the league. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really. You still would have gotten that money, and then, oops, I hurt my leg. I can't go to the major, guys. Sorry. Save yourself fucking 2 weeks of time and travel at potential health risks.
COVID exposure and getting
you would have gotten the same amount of money.
Whatever hotel delivery food you're going to get when you're locked in your room for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Man,
yes.
I think I'm picking up what your opinion on the situation is, judging by the context and the clues that you're giving. It's really unfortunate. The current situation is unfortunate. And it doesn't matter because Liquid's going, so everything's going to be fine. The wild card is interesting because there's like 6 teams, I think. There's 2.
Yeah, you guys got to make it out of the wild card. Then you got to make it out of the group stage. And then, I think even once you're in playoffs, you still have to make it like, you still have to win at least 2 series, I think.
It's out of lower bracket round 1. So you have to not get eliminated in group stage. If you make it to... You have to not get eliminated in group stage, and you have to win 1 best of 3. Either your upper bracket or your lower bracket.
Okay.
And then you get DPC points and money.
Yeah, you guys got a ways to go.
And that wild card is going to be kind of like the other teams in the wild card. Enigma, they'll show up. The 3rd and 4th Chinese team, who will predominantly be okay. T1.
Yeah, that could be Team Elephant. The Team Elephant might end up in the wild card. So,
Yeah, then you're probably fighting for 1 slot who isn't Team Elephant.
And then like AS Monaco Gambit, not bad. Could get better. They've got no one on their team now, so who knows? T1, Southeast Asian team, full of like some players. Like it's led by March. It's got Cuckoo and Carl, who I think is pretty legit. Like,
wildcards are
you cannot underestimate those guys. So yeah.
I'm excited for the major. The wild cards were super fun. I was really rooting for Undying also to fucking make DPC to make playoffs in NA. I was a little bit bummed just because I wanted the chaos of maybe like EG losing. That would have been fun to read the internet.
Yeah, do you know that EG wanted the tiebreaker? So leading into that, right? EG had basically they either are locked in for second or they can get a tiebreaker and potentially take first. Okay. They're guaranteed going to the major unless there's a tiebreaker and they lose that tiebreaker, right? Mm-hmm. You could just accept, all right, we'll be second. But they wanted Team Undying to beat Quincy Crew so they could have a 3-way tiebreaker so they could be first. They wanted to prove that they're the best team.
That's pretty badass.
And at the same time, potentially risking their major opportunity.
That's a big feast or famine shit. I didn't know that. The thing,
isn't that hilarious? It's like a nice combination of like confidence and like hubris and arrogance. Like, just accept second, guys. Go to the fucking major. You're going to play in the group stage. Is it even that bad to play in the group stage? But no, EG wanted to be able to have a tiebreaker and be number 1. And by God, they did it.
I think that aside, and that might be the best call. I mean, obviously, retrospect, they won, right? Like, it was the best call. But them getting seeded into the playoff upper bracket versus having to play group stage versus, I'm just going to say, every European team that's better than them and probably a decent swath of other teams too. Like, they're in the playoffs. They got to win 1 best of 3. They don't got to worry about fucking secret or alliance or, all that shit.
I do not think being upper bracket is that big of an advantage. In fact, I actually think it's a disadvantage if you are unlucky. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm presuming it's just a roll of the dice. I would hope so, that it's a roll of the dice. Okay. But you get 6 teams that go into the upper bracket. Okay. You get 2 more teams that are added to that upper bracket. That comes from the group stage, right? Top 2 of the group stage get seeded into the upper bracket. Mm-hmm. If you are one of those teams who ends up matching against the top of the group stage teams, I'm going to say the chances of you getting knocked down almost immediately is very high. And I think if you get knocked down almost immediately, your chances of going out almost immediately after that are very high. So I actually think that in a way, being seeded into the upper bracket could be a disadvantage if you end up facing the fucking whatever monster team ends up topping out the group stage. You know, a team that has managed to potentially play in wild cards. They played through an entire group stage round robin against a bunch of teams. They figured their shit out. They're fucking hot. They're feeling good. You have to face them totally cold. You have to face them just watching Dota and playing scrims, but like you're going into it. This is your first official match against a team who's played fucking 7 matches at least and fucking dominated people. You know, like I am so convinced that like whatever teams end up matching up against the top of the group stage teams, totally cold, so likely that they're going to get bounced out of the major early.
I mean, you'd really be shitting a brick to come up against, you know, the hot team Elephant, right? Who played through wild card and group stage.
Yeah, like shit like that could, totally happen. You know, you get some like alliance, you know, or some shit who just like tears up the group stage, looking like really fucking hot. They go in. Like, I could definitely see them being able to beat EG or being able to beat, like, you know, Secret's like the one team that will say, okay, they can match up against anybody and they'll still have the advantage, you know, even if they're playing cold and the other team's playing hot and all that shit, you know, it's like they'll still have the advantage. That's the one team I'll possibly give that to. I legitimately think
you're not
that we're going to see this story break down.
Or
yeah, like fucking Beast Coast ends up, you know, going in and matching up against a hot alliance or somebody like that. Like they're going to get bounced down to the lower bracket real quickly. And losses like that can fucking kill your team, you know? Mm-hmm. How many teams have you seen, Quincy Crew, how many teams have you seen go into the upper bracket of TI and gone boom, boom, and just immediately get bounced out? You know, losses can really fuck with you sometimes, depending on the team. So
it's an interesting format that we're dealing with, but one that I think you can fault it for a lot of reasons, but I'm certain it's going to be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That might not mean it's good for players. I would argue that it's not, but it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, fuck them. Who cares? Get good. Win. If it's exciting, that's good. And I mean, it's going to be an interesting tournament, I think, to watch, just because of the different stages starting off and watching a wild card that's going to be, I think, rather intense. And then going into a group stage that is probably going to be pretty intense, at least for the top like 3 or 4 teams. I think very likely there are some suspect teams that should very obviously get knocked down. Like, if anything, it's possible that the wild card at the bottom is going to be more competitive than the group stage at the bottom, because you get the second best of some of these regions who don't have a wild card slot. You get the 4th best team in Europe against the 2nd best team in SA or NA or
even
CIS. Yeah, CIS is kind of weird because they get to play with Europe all the time, so you have to imagine it's amping up their game. But you have to imagine like it's not going to go well. But we'll see. Maybe Thunder Predator are. Thunder Predator. I thought they were really legit like 6 months ago or something. But you know, maybe they can make some magic happen.
I'm excited for the major. They've done it. I think it might be the famine of not having an international event, but I am excited for the major. I am so thankful that our stars are counted, that my stars are counted, that the boys pulled through, and they're going to be in the wild card. It's a big win, not just for Liquid. It's a big win because I got all this fucking fan pack material that I can't wait to eventually promote one day when those ever get released.
I saw fucking, who was it? Black and Yellow. I saw fucking Black and Yellow because they made it through the tiebreaker. So they're going to stay together as a team, which I think if they did not make it through the tiebreaker and they got bounced down to lower division, they were not going to stay together as a team. I've heard that about a lot of teams. They get bounced down to lower division for the second season. What the fuck is the point of being in there? You know, that's the way they're going to think. I'll tell you what the point is. The point is, for being in the DPC for the second season is very important, because that is the only way you can play for TI. If you have any hopes of wanting to be able to play in the TI qualifiers, you must be in the second season of the DPC. That is why you should keep playing, even if you're in the lower division. Or that is why, if you are looking, say that again.
I didn't know that.
Yes, there is no open qualifiers for TI, right? They put that in, and that is still there. There is going to be no open qualifiers for TI. So all of those teams, you know, those players, the teams that traditionally are like get put together just for TI, you know, they have to happen now. Otherwise, they don't get a chance.
That's interesting. What's Mouse Sports gonna do?
Yeah, it's fucking it's wild. It's some of these rules are real interesting, and I don't think a whole lot of people recognize. I don't think a whole lot of people realize the rules, because I was talking to somebody about this, and like kind of double checking what the rules are going to be, and yeah, you go to the Valve rule set. It is there. It says updated. But apparently that was updated like Christmas, apparently before the DPC actually started. So, but yeah, it's there. It doesn't, like, the thing is that, like, I don't think people like fully reading the rules like broke down, oh, okay, if there is no open qualifiers, I don't think they in turn realized what that meant for the second season, how important it is to be in the second season. So it also means that you're going to see a lot of roster shakeups after this major, possibly after that. But like, there are a lot of free agents out there, and they're going to bump somebody out, and that person, if they want to be able to stay in, is going to bump somebody else farther down the totem pole. And we're just going to have these fucking
it's going to be interesting,
these exchanges, and people are just going to be kicking the shit out of people all the way down the hill, you know.
There's going to be empty spots.
So there's a real trickle down shitonomics going on right now.
Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah, fucking Samael comes in, just, you know, actually it already happened. No one came in, just fucking took a big old shit on FN's chest, said, thanks for keeping my spot warm, chump. Fucking boop, get out of my fucking spot. I'm now standing in for this team. And then once the major happens, there, of course, we'll announce that, oh, hey, stand-in went really well with no one. We're actually going to bring him into the team. Oh, good thing is standing in just, you know, really worked out for us.
I'm really happy.
We're happy to have him here. Yeah. and then you're going to see FN. Like, FN's a pretty good player. He's going to take a spot like from somebody somewhere, maybe the upper division, maybe the best team in the lower division or something, but he's going to take somebody's spot. And that person's going to be like, well, shit, I want to play in TI. I want to be in the TI qualifiers. So they're going to take somebody out, one of the bottom teams of the lower division. They'll be like, fuck it, I'll play with you guys. Just keep me in the DPC. Fucking get that guy out of here.
Dude, I had no idea. Yeah, people are not talking enough about that.
Yes.
There's going to be some straight up carnage. There's going to be some hashtag drama. There's going to be some hashtag drama.
I think it'll very likely become big news soon. I was talking to Kyle about it, and I was telling him about this, and so he's going to make a blog post about it and have that whole conversation that Kyle likes to have with the community. So
got to build that clout.
Yeah, it'll go big soon. And
if he's gonna write blogs, can you tell him to fix the whole fan pass thing too while he's at it? Thanks.
Yeah, I don't fucking Christ. Yeah, so yes, I saw Black and Yellow being like, hey, who wants to make some art for our fucking fan bundle? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess you still got time. At this point, Valve has to be waiting until fucking the anime's released and they can drop a whole bunch of content. Here's the major, here's the fucking anime, here's the fan bundles, here's the new player experience.
I can only hope that's really the case. I heard a rumor that the website to submit assets for the fan bundle no longer works.
Oh, really?
Now, the speculation that can happen here is that submissions are closed, you haven't put it in, you're fucked because they're going to go in the game really soon.
Uh-huh.
Other hypothesis. People were so incompetent at submitting the right file type, because I know that they were asking for particular things, like 64 kilobit mono audio for voice lines, or transparent PNGs, or 3D renders for your logo, right? People might have just submitted the wrong fucking stuff. And someone at Valve is melting because 80 however many teams sent them incomprehensible files. That's option number 2.
Yeah.
Option number 3, there's no plan still.
I mean, there has to be a plan. All right. Valve is not so incompetent that there isn't a plan. All right.
There's definitely
a plan. I have to assume it has to be for the major, or they're waiting for the DPC to wrap up. I'm not sure like what the point of like maybe it was just to like get the ball rolling and get people like working to create this stuff. But like, you know, I'm just thinking about like the bottom 2 teams who are like, well, we'll make some stuff, and then they get bounced out of the DPC.
I hope they release the fan packs.
Yeah,
anyways.
We're not using that shit.
I hope they release the fan packs for them anyways. Just as
There's no way they do. There's no way they do. Fucking losers. Winners get fan bundles. Losers get the fuck out.
They're gonna have to release for everyone though, not just the major teams. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I think no one even like they might just put it up for the major teams. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of waiting for the major unless you're only doing the major teams. But I don't know. Maybe Valve's inside are having a disagreement about how much shit they want to let into their game, you know? Because letting 16 teams across 6 different regions, that's what, 96 teams, all get some fucking get images and audio and shit, and they're like, I really want these shitters to have their space in our game.
Think of how small the Dota 2 team is at Valve, and then think about how much human work hours has to go into not just putting the stuff into the game. Like that's busy work, right? I'm sure you or I could probably do that if you wanted to, just put the files in the right place, right? That's all you do, just copy paste. Sure. But the QC work of having to actually like make sure that there's like, stuff that people deem worthy to be inside the game without causing a problem, or setting a standard of what is acceptable versus what is not acceptable when you're looking at 96 teams. Say everyone sends 3 sprays like they were supposed to do. Almost 300 sprays you're going to put in the game, in theory, maximum. And you're trying to like kind of QC them. And then probably have internal debates about what is good and what is bad and what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do. That just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just a lot of time.
Again, it feels like one of those things, like I feel like Valve does this a lot, where there's like one person who has this like good idea, and the reason why things get abandoned is like that person has an idea, and then, maybe it's too big of a project for them, or they get butterfly, they see the fucking VR software, like let's do some shit on that or something, and they just that project just gets lost, it just goes into the unfinished bucket that is Valve things, and I feel like this is kind of one of those things.
This is gonna happen.
Somebody was like,
this is gonna happen. There's no way this does not happen.
Yeah. And it was it absolutely will happen for sure. I'm just saying that I think there was one person who was like, this would be a good idea, and fucking way too ambitious, bro. Way too ambitious. Like, Just fucking like if I'm there at Valve, I'm like, guys, what the fuck are we doing? Letting everyone have a fucking fan bundle? You crazy? Give it to the fucking major teams. That's your reward for getting into the major. You get a fucking fan bundle. Congratulations. Giving a fucking fan bundle to a fucking lower division team for the 14th best team in a region? Are you fucking kidding me?
Even if you just did upper division teams, cuts the work in half.
Yeah.
That's still 150 sprays, 150 voice lines, 150 emoticons.
Yeah.
If I was thinking about what I would need in order to actually like go through all that stuff and like build a team out to look at all of it and talk about it, I would say 3 to 4 people for 2 weeks to just focus on that project.
Yeah. Again, overly ambitious.
That being
Start
said,
small, but the problem is they already announced it. They already said they were going to do it. They already fucking gave all these lower division teams the opportunity to put in their shit.
the liquid bundle is going to be good. I am willing to go out on a limb and say that we have the best fan package.
You do not.
I'm willing to go out on a limb.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking cut that limb down right now
and say that we have the best fan package.
Worked with Slacks on the Arkosh bundle. I can tell you right now, you don't have the best.
There's
one.
no way whatever Slacks wants to put in the game is being accepted.
You say that. You say that. We'll see. We'll see. Again, Valve didn't put any fucking.
Dude, I was so fucking
any
hyped.
idea of quality control. There was no like, hey, this is the line you should kind of toe.
I was so hyped for Jake and to talk to him during those Arkosh tiebreakers and being like, dude, I have watched zero NA DPC Season 1 games, with the exception of Dog Champ versus The Cut, to see if they can force a tiebreaker for Arkosh to get into upper division. That is the only NA series I watched because I wanted to support my friend Siraction Slacks and his fucked up experiment. And I wanted the news to be reality.
Watch that. I was in Europe. I didn't watch that shit.
There was a technical pause and Jenkins got on the show and was like, hey, Dakota, diarrhea's great, right? And I'm like, Jenkins, my guy.
You know, I had that. You know what's fucking wild is that Dakota tweeted that out. He's like, I've never had a panelist ask me if I enjoyed diarrhea before, and I saw that and I immediately responded. I said, I do not like the fact that I know immediately who you're talking about, because here's the thing about Jenkins: this is not made up. Okay. I mean, in a way, it is made up. He likes to put on an intentionally trolly persona. But it's not made up in that he's only doing it for on stream. I had that same conversation with him in private at Omega League. Where
we had it on the show. We did it on this show.
Oh, that's right. We did it on the show as well. Like, that's who Jenkins is. Like... Fucking terrible. Oh my god.
Dude. So yeah, that's the only NA game that I watched. So RIP Arkosh. I'm sure their fan bundle might be better than Liquid's, but definitely less family friendly. And less, less cool. I'm saying it.
Hey, but Team Liquid's fan bundle is also very good. I've seen both of them. Obviously, I got a chance to help you out with that. So
there's going to be a video that we're going to release that Cap helped us with our players recording their voiceover lines, which is moderately funny. It's moderately to seriously funny. So you
might breathe out through your nose in a bit of a huff.
At least once.
At least once.
All that aside, I know we've been going on for a minute. Part of that is because I'm still kicking myself about Bitcoin. We'd probably be remiss to not round out by mentioning that the official Netflix trailer for Dragon Blood dropped today. And we both
Yeah.
And I think
your reaction was different than mine.
Yeah, we both had different reactions. I watched it right before the show, and went, man, I really like the way Studio Mer draws stuff. And also, I didn't know until there was that interview with the voice cast that Troy Baker was fucking Invoker, which is really cool because I like a lot of the games Troy Baker's been in. I'm a big fan of Death Stranding and Higgs, so I'm like, that's fucking rad. And just looking at it, I think it's gonna be a little silly, but I also just get the feeling that it's gonna be pretty well done. And now I went from being cautiously optimistic to fully optimistic and thinking that it's gonna be good.
It gave me Castlevania vibes. In just a lot of things. Combination of like a little bit of the art, a little bit of voice acting, and just the general vibe. And I really enjoyed Castlevania. Let me put that out. Have you seen Castlevania?
I have not watched the animated series.
Okay, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. You should watch it. It's quite good. It's one of the anime I will recommend to non-anime watchers. And so reminding me of Castlevania should be a good thing, but I feel like it's going to be Castlevania with a way less coherent story. Because for the life of me, I am so worried that this anime is going to do too much Dota stuff. That they took a fucking storyline that was way too fucking... What? I remember what I said last time we talked about this anime. You want to fucking simplify things. You get into fucking the weird-ass Dota universe. You do not throw a bunch of fucking Dota things in there. You keep it real fucking simple. That's why I talked about, like fucking, just make it fucking, you literally just copy Radiant versus Sentinel, a fucking Scourge versus, whatever it was, Radiant versus Scourge or whatever. Literally just make it fucking tree people, good human people versus undead things. You could do that with the Dota lore, and then you progress to the next season and make it a little bit more convoluted. We're talking about Celamene and she's got some fucking secret, and there's the Templar Assassin blossoms in there. We're gonna connect that. We've also now seen that like Terrorblade's a villain in it as well. I'm not sure if you saw
I did see that.
Yeah, fucking Terrorblade's gonna be in there. People were talking about whether or not Underlord was in the teaser or not. So you're dealing with demons and fucking and Celamene and goddesses and Templar Assassin and fucking like what? Come on, man. I'm worried there's too much. There's too much stuff. I have no idea what I'm a Dota fan. I have no idea what the fuck this story's about.
That is true. I do not know what the story's about, and
like, isn't that the point of a trailer? Is that it's supposed to lead you, somewhere? I know people like complain a lot about like trailers being too revealing, but like legitimately, the teaser to the actual trailer itself, I didn't get any semblance of a story. I actually felt like I knew the story better when I watched the teaser. After watching the actual trailer, I have no fuck idea where this story's going. So I'm concerned.
I have some level of confidence that they made this with your ideal path in mind. Not the as simple as possible, but close to as simple as possible. And I think that my worry is that they accomplish that by too much just straight exposition dumping. And that's how they like educate people on this universe or what's going on. But I'm going to reserve my judgment until I see it, and I'm going to continue to be optimistic because I don't think that they would fully make the mistake to make it way too convoluted.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like that's my concern, but obviously they're way more competent people than me involved in this. So I'm still optimistic as well, just less so after watching that trailer. But
well, We got a couple weeks until that plans out. We got a couple weeks into the major. We still got to see what shakes up in China. I got hopefully a couple weeks till I find my Ethereum password, and it's not actually gone forever, but it might be. And
We have one more thing we did not talk about.
Oh, what?
We'll keep it short. Last episode, we played the game. Guess the 5 teams that have been disqualified from the DPC. We now have a 6th.
No, don't.
We have
you're joking.
6th in there.
Are you serious?
Yes, we did it. The CIS lower division has been tainted. It has been corrupted. That's right. Magical is suspected on match fixing, who plays for Hustlers. Team it starts with an X. It's supposed to be Hustlers. It's supposed to translate into something close to Hustler, which actually means Hustlers. But yes, the team that is 2-5, barely kept in the lower division. Their mid player, Magical, suspected of match fixing. Of course, Magical, well known for his stream sniping when it comes to playing pubs.
Oh, I've seen him on Reddit because people don't like him.
Yes, people hate him because he seems rather shameless in his stream sniping. Yeah. So, suspected of match fixing, that is number 6.
Did the community find that out? Or did, like, his teammates say something? Or, like, how did that come to light?
I think, if not 100% here, but I think they're basically kind of doing the same thing that that the various, like, NA team that we were talking about, whoever they were, I forgot. They suspected one of their players of match fixing. They're just fucking, they're putting it out there saying, we think this guy's match fixing. We can't fucking say for sure, but like, fucking, hand to God, Valve, I swear we didn't do it. We didn't fucking do it. This wasn't a team decision. Please don't fucking kill us. It was him, man. It was him. It was all him. We didn't do it.
6 teams.
So,
what are your odds that we find a 7th?
I mean, we're too shy of an entire division of players. That is quite impressive. What are the chances there is a 7? I would say pretty high. What are the chances we find that 7th? Unsure about that. I'm currently looking at the Chinese lower division.
That's true. None of these teams have come out of China, right? Who historically has the most problems with match fixing in general.
Yes. Currently looking at Sparking Arrow Gaming, because that team has D-Stones on it. Fuck D-Stones. Fuck that guy. You know my D-Stone story?
No.
Oh. So I got beef with one of the Chinese players.
I can't imagine you having beef with everyone. Right? I can't imagine you having beef with anyone.
I got beef with D-Stones, dog. You want to know why? Because we got beef with D-Stones when we were in China playing pubs at a LAN cafe. It was me, Merlini, Jack KBBQ, Jofi, who is a Chinese personality. She was in the talent scene, is no longer, but used to be. Fogged, I think, played with us then. And we would play unranked party queue when we would run into D-Stones. And D-Stones was a fucking disgusting try-hard invoker picker. Literally, dude just spammed Invoker every single time we ran into him. So eventually we start trying to ban it out. And one of the games, he talks, he does some all chat, talks some shit. Jofi and Jack relay what he's saying to us. And one of the games, we end up banning his Invoker And Merlini plays mid Bane. Yes, played mid Bane. Fucking shits on D Stones. Absolutely destroys him. We go on to win that game. Fucking dumpster that guy. He gets so mad. He's fucking all chatting a storm. And the funny part was he was calling us toxic. Because, you know, we banned his Invoker and picked an off-meta hero mid, like, and he got dumpstered. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, what?
There's a term for that. It's called projecting. Also, fucking
Yes.
go on.
Anyway, like, he just fucking all chatting a fucking shitstorm. Jack and Jofi are trying to keep up and letting us know what he's saying. And yeah, so fuck that guy. That's why we got beef. It's on site with D Stones.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, man, he like looked at my girlfriend funny, or he told my mom to fuck off, or like you
nah, it's pub drama.
You had a shitty pub experience with him. Yeah, fuck that guy.
I mean, it's you know, it's meme drama. I know very little about D Stones besides what I am relayed from the Chinese community, Chinese talent and such. And apparently they don't have great like.
Well, he sounds like a stand-up guy.
He's not a well-liked person. If he's gonna act that way in pubs, he's not super well-liked. But it's mean beef. I just think it's funny that like an English-speaking commentator or commentators, because Fogged and Merlini are also in this beef, could have like beef with like a Chinese player when we can't even communicate. So whenever I go on panels and I see D Stones, I'm always just like, fuck that guy. Remember that time that Merlini shit all over you? You fucking piece of shit.
We gotta pause here. You know, I have a funny story about D Stones. One time I was in a LAN cafe with Merlini. And he fucking dumpstered it.
He was at like some ESL, like he was at some ESL 1 event with like Aster, I think. He got transferred out of that roster real quickly after that event. And boy, let me just say, that was the most biased I've ever been against a team. I really wanted that team to lose. Fucking D Stones? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, did he pick Invoker? Ugh.
And to this day, I occasionally check up. Who's D Stones playing with now? Ah, that team. I hope they're not doing very well. Ah, they aren't good.
Division 2. Feels about right.
Unfortunately, his team's doing pretty well in Division 2, but, you know, we'll see.
I'm sure it's not his fault.
So, yeah. 2 more teams. We would have a full division of cheaters, match fixers.
I bet we're going to find a 7th one.
As in, like, soon, or you think, like, it'll eventually come out that this team is match fixing?
I'll say before the major.
Okay.
There will be one more team, and I will also hedge the bet to say it's a Chinese team.
Okay. Anybody out of Southeast Asia? Southeast Asia lower division? Anything there?
Be a Chinese team.
Okay.
I'll play the odds. Give me the odds, bookkeep. But I guess until we continue to just wait for more teams to murder their own career in broad daylight, that's it. You gave me 5 more minutes to actually think of a way to end the show, and I spent the time not thinking about it. So here we are.
Fair. My stories are enthralling. I understand. You couldn't think about anything else.
It's true.
You were tied to your seat. What happened with D Stones? Why does Cap hate him? Did they get into a fist fight?
I was actually just focused on the Widow's Peak on your hairline, actually.
Yeah. That Widow's Peak? I've had it forever. I'm actually opening up my camera, making it nice and big. I got it from my dad. Son of a bitch passed on a Widow's Peak to me that's pretty intense, and I've had it since I'm a teenager. It hasn't actually receded hardly at all. That's just what I've been born with. It's intense, right?
I think it's more prominent right now that your specific hair length. It's pretty prominent.
Yeah.
It's cool. You're an evil villain. An evil villain who I will.
My dad likes to call it the Eddie Munster hair. And it's just to give him shit, I'm always like, I know who Eddie Munster is. For those of you who don't know, there was a very old television show, literally black and white, called The Munsters.
Mm-hmm.
It was a monster family. And one of the kids had the weirdest fucking hair, like they made some sort of weird hairline for him that went down to like the center of his fucking forehead, and it went in a widow's peak sort of deal. So my dad always calls it the Eddie Munster look, and every single time I know who it is, but I'm just like, who? What the fuck are you talking about? Eddie Munster. Hey, you know, the Munsters. What the fuck is that, Dad? Oh, come on, the Munsters.